Okay, what if I told you that by the end of this video, your computer will scan the entire Indian stock market for you automatically and every single day, and then text the best opportunities straight to your phone. No staring at charts, no manual screening, fully hands-free. And here's the part that you really need to hear. You don't really need to be a coder for this. If you can copy paste and follow along, you can build the exact same thing, because we are going to let Claude and the Dhan MCP server do the heavy lifting for us, while we are going to just talk or write in plain English. Now here's the plan. First we'll plug in the Dhan MCP server and see what exactly it can and cannot do. Then we'll pull in live market data, top gainers, most active stocks, bulk deals, and then have a Python script all written by Claude and not by us to cross check all the list that we built to find the stock that really stand out. Then we'll schedule it to run every day all by itself during the market hours, and then finally we'll wire up everything to Telegram so that the shortlisted stocks gets delivered straight to your phone. Now, whether you are a developer or someone who has never written a single line of code in his life, stick around because I'll show you every single step to build it. Alright, with that said, let's get into it. Alright, so before we actually start, I want you to install a couple of things. First one is the Claude desktop application. Okay, now if you have been using Claude and if you have been using the web version, you'll have to get past that and you'll have to install Claude's desktop version. So now how do you get the Claude desktop version? So you open a browser and you go to your ClaudeAI, and then over here you see this little download button. You click on that, and then over here you would see this desktop application and download for whatever operating system you are using. Be it Apple, be it Mac OS, be it Windows, or be it Linux. Just download it for this. Okay, cool. Now, once you have that, log in into it and come to this Cowork option over here. Now, we'll be using the Dhan MCP server. Of course, you can install that in the chat, but the things that we are going to do in this video, I highly suggest that you do it in Cowork. Okay, so now once you are up on the Cowork, you would see an interface like that. Okay, now the first thing that I want you to do is work in a project folder. You see this option over here, hit this and then create a new folder or choose a different folder over here. And I'm going to choose C drive, my drive, and then I'm going to choose new folder and I'm going to call it Dhan YouTube. All right, and over here I'm going to say always allow. All right, now once this much we have done, we are now going to actually connect ourselves or connect Claude to the Dhan MCP. So I'm going to click on this plus icon over here. Inside that, connectors, add connector, and then add custom connector. Okay, I'm going to hit that. Now this thing requires a few things that we would get from the Dhan MCP server browser. Now, okay, so now come to this browser, come to this address which says docs.dhanhq.co/mcp. I'll put this link in the description. You can access it directly from there. Now this is the official page for Dhan MCP. Now over here they are telling how it works. So we are the developers or we are the users. We prompt the MCP client, which we'll connect in a while with Claude. It will then make a few tool calls. Now we'll look at the tools, and then it will finally call the MCP Dhan.co. That is going to make an API call to the Dhan APIs, and then finally to the exchange, and then give us the results back. Now in the previous video that I did, we used the Dhan HQ APIs and created an MCP server ourselves. But over here in this video, Dhan itself is giving an MCP server and we are using that. Okay, now let's come to the installation part. Now they want, in order to connect your Claude to Dhan, they want us to put this URL. Now this is the place where the Dhan MCP server is living. Now the video that we did previously, over there we created the Dhan MCP server which was running locally, and now they are saying that they have built a server themselves and they want us to use that with some set of tools. So I'm going to copy this, I'm going to come back, and over here I'm going to put in this URL, and the name, they said it to be Dhan, but let us double check. The name, set the name to Dhan. So I'm going to copy this also and I'm going to put it over here. Now the other options, the OAuth client ID secret, which we tried to find out, from the profile in the previous video, we don't really need that. I'm going to say add. I've just done this much and I'm now connected to Dhan. Now in order to figure out if Claude can actually reach to Dhan servers, I'm just going to talk to Claude. Now over here, I'm going to choose my microphone. Okay, and then I'm going to talk Claude. All right, hello Claude, can you reach Dhan via the Dhan MCP server? So it has taken it wrong. Dhun, I'm going to call it Dhan. Okay, let's see now. All right, so something happened and it is now, given this intermediary prompt. Okay, so it changed and it says, yes, MCP server is reachable and responding, and this is how you can connect to it. Open this in your browser and log in. So I'm going to hit this, and then now it wants me to log in. Okay, I'm going to enter my registered mobile number and I'm going to log in via OTP. Okay, so now I should get an OTP on my phone in a minute, in a few seconds rather. Yes, I've got it. I'm going to enter that. Okay, so now it says authentication is completed. Return to your MCP client and continue. Cool. I can close this page and come back to Claude. And over here, I'm going to say done. Cool. So I think it has logged me in, and yes, now it is running this portfolio agent tool now. Okay, so it says you are authenticated and connected, and this is my available balance. That is very much correct. Nothing utilized, 0% margin used. Okay, cool. Now, so if we look at this, it first said finding tools, and then it ran this tool, portfolio agent tool, and this was the result. Sent it this action funds, and then this was the response, which it then told me in plain English. All right. Now, what are tools that DhanMCP is giving? Now, once we understand the tools, we get the entire chemistry of how DhanMCP could work and how we can use it to make trades. And we'll take it a level up, not just using tools, but using them autonomously. Okay, so we'll level the game up today. But before that, let's go back to our DhanMCP and let's look at the tools that we have got over here. Okay, so it says what you can do. I can get the portfolio, yes, orders, place, modify, and cancel orders, including super orders. Now, the super orders is a very interesting concept. If you have been into trading, you would always have felt the need, or you would have always done it, that you will keep increasing your stop loss as the stock makes more or reaches more higher ceiling. You will also increase your stop loss. Now, super order or this tool over here gives us this flexibility that we can increase our stop losses as and when the stock progresses further. This is very interesting, and we'll come back to that in a moment, or maybe after a few minutes, after we have done exploring the existing tools. Okay, then we also get market data, live prices, quotes with depth, options, and chains. Okay, then historical data. Well, this is altogether an entirely paid concept. You will have to subscribe to a different set of APIs in order to use this historical data tool. So we'll not do this in this video. Then we can of course get the margin. We can get the alerts. Like I can set something like, if the price of Reliance goes up, I want a trigger or some alert I want some alert to come up that shows me that the Reliance price has gone up, and then as a result of that, I can also trigger an order automatically. We are going to see that. Then there is a search. So if you have looked at my previous video, we had a little hard time figuring out the security ID for a particular stock. Now Dhan has also solved that problem. They have laid out a tool for that. So you just tell it the company name, and this tool over here is going to give you the security ID. So pretty easy things that they have done. Cool. Now this is the full tool documentation. If you want, you can look at it. Okay, so we don't really need to worry about what tools are available, because Claude is going to call that for us. We just need to talk to it. Okay, but even then, if you are interested, you can have a look at that. You can just go to this connectors over here. Okay, let me cancel that. So how you can look at that is, you can go to connectors, then manage connectors, and over here choose this Dhan connector, and you can see all the tools that are available to you. Now you can also select the permissions that you want it to have. Now the tick over here says that it is always allowed. You can of course change it over here. If you want that a particular tool should always ask you before making the call, you can set it to needs approval or blog or something else. So I have set that to be always allow for now, so that whenever I talk to it, it finds a tool, makes a call. It doesn't really need my authorization over there. It can just go ahead and do it. Cool. Now let's go back to the chat over here. Cool. Now we know the balance, and we know that, okay, these are the tools that we have got. So first of all, let us try that search agent tool. Okay, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to talk to Claude and ask it what is the security ID for Reliance. Okay, hi Claude. So all right, hello Claude. Okay, so I'm going to type it. I'm going to say, what is the security ID for Reliance? And let us see if it is able to invoke that tool and figure out the exact security ID. Yeah, so it uses this tool called search agent tool. Okay, so the security ID for Reliance Industries is Reliance EQ on NSE is 2885. That security cash symbol. The June 26 future is this. Okay, cool. So all these things. So this tool is working just fine. So now let us ask Dhan, or now let us ask Claude to buy me a Reliance share. Claude, can you buy me a... Okay, so my mic supposedly has stopped working. So I'm going to type it. Can you, or let's just say, buy me a share of Reliance. RELAINC. Now let us see what it does. Alright, so this is what it says. I can't place trades or submit orders on your behalf even with the Dhan trading tool. Connected, executed, a buy is something you'll need to confirm and place yourself. That's a firm line on financial actions. what I can do is set everything up so it is one click job for you. Here's the order detail. All right. So even though it has got the MCP tool for, placing an order, it cannot do it, maybe because of some of its guardrails that has been set on. Cool. But we'll get over that in the coming part of this video alone. All right. But can it set an alert? Let's see that. Can you set an alert as soon as the Reliance share is up by 1%? Let's see. All right. So we cannot really subscribe, or we cannot really use the alert tool also, because the live market data quote came back unauthorized. Now we'll have to have that data API's access subscription, and then only we could perform data related operations. Of course, we can get all the read only informations, but in order to write something, we will need those data API subscriptions. Cool. So we cannot really do this. So what we have found is that Cowork or Claude Cowork alone cannot place an order autonomously all by itself. Also, getting the data from Dhan is crucial, and the MCP tools that it has given us, we would need an additional subscription in order to get the data from Dhan. All right. So now that leaves us with something that I've been dying to do all this while. All right. So the next plan of action is we need to look outside apart from Claude and apart from Dhan to get the live data to us so that we could use these MCP tools. Now, what are the options? So I've got two options for you actually. The first one is that there is a Python wrapper someone has written. We are going to use that. Now, this is unofficial, and if you plan to do this, do it at your own risk. I am not really any trading guru. I'm just a small developer trying to do something fun. This is a fun project. Okay. So do it at your own risk. All right. Now, this is a Python wrapper, unofficial, for the NSE India Stock Exchange. All right. Now, this wrapper gives us a few methods. Now, the first method is the bulk deals. Now, see, the real money is where, people who are well aware of politics, people who are well aware of a deal that is going to happen in the near future. Now, this is where those people will pool in all their money for a particular stock. So that is a bulk deal. Okay. A few recognized individuals, a few corporations, maybe those guys, they do bulk deals. Now, we as retail investors, we really don't have that kind of money, but we can build ways to monitor what stock they are preparing. Okay. What stock they are putting in their money, right? We can do this. Now, this endpoint over here, or this function over here, gives us that ability to get where and who has invested how much money into what stock. Okay. Now, there is one more important thing that I would like to bring out, that I would like to point to rather. Now, when someone does a bulk deal, the chances are higher that he is not expecting a gain from that stock right away. Now, if he does a bulk deal, maybe he is eyeing a period of 1 month, 6 months, or up to a year. Okay. But that means the price of that stock is going to shoot up, and he has invested in right now. And this is where we, build a bridge so that we could monitor it and we could invest our money into that same stock also, so that if he makes 20%, we at least make 5% based on the capital we have invested in, of course. Cool. So I'm going to ask Claude. Now, you don't really need to be a developer. You don't really need to be a coder to build this system that we are building right now. I am not aware of Python, how Python works, but still I'll be able to do it because of Claude. So I'm going to copy this URL and I'm going to give it to Claude, and I'm going to ask it, go through this link, analyze it, and tell me how we can use it to monitor bulk deals live. Now, let us see what it comes up with. Alright, so Claude has come back and it tells us exactly what we found it on the website, but it is telling me one more option. It is asking me if I want to build a ready to run Python polling script that watches for bulk and block deals and prints alerts on the new entries. I can also add a filter, example, only deals above a quantity for a specific symbol. So we can give it filter and whatnot. Cool. So if we somehow are able to build a Python script that calls that API or calls that function, we can get some data that somewhere a bulk operation has happened, right? So we could make it work. Only thing that we'll have to add additionally is that we'll have to trigger it again and again. Let's say every 15 minutes or every 20 minutes or something, right? This is what at the max. Cool. There was one more link although. So the other link is a GitHub repo actually by this person called Ruchi Tanmay, and she has also developed a wrapper in Python, again unofficial, but they are claiming that it gives us live market data, gives us publicly available data from NSE NSE India. Okay. Now we have ways where we can find which are the bulk deals happening for what stock, and here is a sample response that this guy has given. So if we look at the sample response, this is what we'll get. We'll get the date, the order time, the symbol, who purchased it, and whether it was a buy or sell, and the quantity that was traded, and the price that it was traded at. Cool. All right. So now we have a way to figure out how we can get the bulk deals, and along with this, we also have got a few more things. Now it says top gainers or losers. Now this is something interesting, right? Now, so we have got a few things if we calculate. So we have got this tool or this function which is going to give us the bulk deals, and then we have also got top gainers or losers and the most active equities. Now this repo, they are saying they at a few tools at a few functions I've seen that they have written live, but for a few functions they have said that they have not explicitly mentioned anything. Okay, so not considering the worst part and considering the best case scenario, even if this is not live, right, and there was a bulk deal that happened yesterday, and even if this is giving us, this repo over here is giving us tail data of yesterday, which I'm not sure, but I think it is not, this function over here will give us the top gainer or loser from the other date, right, or from some other date. Maybe it is not live today, but if we could figure out, let's say there was a bulk deal that happened for stock A, that happened for stock A, B and C, and then from this repo, if I could figure out from these two functions that if A, B, C are also included, as a result of these two function calls, and then I also have A, B, C where the bulk deal happened, right, then I have got two lists, A, B, C from the bulk deal and A, B, C, D from this two tool calls, right. I can precisely match that A, B, C are actually, the people are trading into these equities, and this is how I can actually, pick up my stock, right, automatically pick up my stock if I can build such a system which could use this wrapper over here to give me the stocks which are for which bulk deals are happening, and the stock where we have got the top gainer or loser, which are in the top gainers and which are the most active equities right now. If I can get a combination of these two, it can be very easy for me to pick a stock. But then how do I actually do it? Well, this is where Claude comes in. So I'm going to give my Claude both these things now, okay, and I'm going to number it 1 and 2. Okay, one more thing to note is that now both these tools are APIs. Okay, they are not WebSocket, they are not server sent event endpoints, so they are not streaming any kind of data. It will be we make a call to them and then they reply to us. They are not themselves streaming data. Okay, so every time we want to get some value, we'll have to make a call, right? Cool. So let's get back to Claude, and over here this had NSE bulk deal. To copy this, I'm going to come back to Claude and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the first link I have given you. Now, if my mic was working, I could have just spoken to Claude, but nevertheless, let's write it. The first link I've given you tells about a bulk deal and API endpoint that should give us the bulk deals happening in the Indian stock market or NSE market for a given date and time. Okay, so they also had a response, right? Okay, I mentioned this. Okay, let me also mention this is the sample response they have given. So now my tool or Claude will know that this is the request and this is the response. Cool. Now the next thing is this library over here. Okay, I've already copied it. Let me just copy. Now second, let me just first paste that. The second is a GitHub repo link that has got several Python functions. Okay, let's just say several functions. I want to use the below functions. Okay, now what can you do to use these? Let's see what it comes up with. So I've given it everything I knew, and now I'm asking it to prepare a kind of implementation plan that how Claude can use this data. Let's see. So it can run both the libraries in its own sandbox to see if NSE's endpoints are reachable from here. That's nice. So we don't really need to code anything right now. It can do it all by itself in its own sandbox. Pretty awesome. Okay, so it tested both the libraries in the sandbox. They were able to install it, but the NSE servers are blocked from my environment. Okay, so it is saying that I can give you a complete ready to run script, the exact function signatures from the installed package. All right, so Claude has now given us a Python script and it is saying that we can run it, and what it does is that it gives us bulk deals via both NSE lib and the NSE India APIs maybe. Okay, top gainers or losers, most active equities by value and by volume. Python NSE market prints a 1-line snapshot. Watch runs a polling loop that flags new bulk deals as they appear. Okay, but if we add watch after the script, it is going to keep polling. Okay, for maybe some time it has configured somewhere. Okay, but we are not really going to poll it for now. Now I need to open this where we could run it. Okay, so we already made a folder, right? This Dhan YouTube. So Claude also has made the script into the same folder. So I'm going to open VS Code and I'm going to point to that folder that we created, that is Dhan YouTube. I'm going to open it and we see that the script is mentioned over here. Okay, now I'm going to open the terminal and I'm going to copy that command. Okay, so first I need to install these. Yeah, of course. So you should have Python installed on your machine, then only you will be able to do that. Installing Python is pretty straightforward. Just go to python.org and download the Python latest version of Python for your operating system, be it Windows or Mac. So it is now installed. It should now be installing it. Yes. All right. So all these NAC-lib is the library that is the GitHub repo that we saw. And then pandas is for all the requests that we do. Pandas is a library, Python library for that. All right, cool. Then it wants to run us test and let us see what happens. Okay, so it did something. Okay, so NSE snapshot for 26th of June, that is today. Okay, and the top gainers right now, it told me Indigo, okay, top losers, and then the most active by volume, and this was most active by value, and then the bulk deals. To date should greater than from date. Okay, either or both from date. Okay, so somewhere it gave a, in the script somewhere it gave a from date and to date. Let's find that. Okay, so it is giving today's date. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another terminal and call Claude over here. Now I'm going to go back to my previous output and I'm going to copy this, come to Claude and give it this error. And I'm just going to say fix this error. So I hope you understood the error also. It says to date should be greater than the from date. Okay, so from date should be of yesterday, to date should be of today. All right, so it has done some changes. I'll make from date default to a day earlier than to date. Okay, cool. So it has done it and I'm going to say yes. All right, I'm going to say yes again, done. So it has now fixed it. And now I'm going to go back to my initial terminal and I'm going to run this script again. So we'll get everything else, top gainers, most active, and for the bulk deals, this is what we got. Okay. So 26th June's bulk deal is not coming. Why? Now these were the bulk deals of 25th June. So I'm going to go back to Claude Code and I'm going to tell it I want to see today's bulk deal, that is 26th June 2022. Fix the parameters accordingly. I'm going to say yes to it. So if we set the from date to today and the to date to tomorrow, then he's saying that Claude is saying that you will get the deals for 26th of June. All right. So it has done that change and I'm going to go back to my previous terminal and I'm going to run it again. So bulk deals today is not yet available. So that means we cannot get the same day's data. Cool. Not a problem. Now, as I said earlier, if we could even get yesterday's bulk deals that happened, maybe today there is a high chance that today people or individual investors are still trading into that. And for a long term portfolio, choosing a stock where someone has done a bulk investment yesterday, I don't think that's a bad deal. Cool. So now what we have got? We have got the bulk deals that happened yesterday and we have got the top gainers or the most active stocks in the current session or in today's session. Correct? Now, what I want is I want to find the common stocks between these two lists, right? And then once I find such a stock, I'm pretty sure I'm going to invest into that. So now how do I do that? Again, I'm going to use Claude and tell it to write that code for me. So I'm going to come back over here into my Claude Code. Now this is Claude Code. There are several videos I've done where I've told you how to install Claude Code. You can have a look at that. Okay, so I'm going to tell it from the script @ So now as soon as I hit @ I'll get the available list. Okay, so I'm going to say from the script this, I get top gainers, and then what else do I get? I also get most active by volume and most active by value. Okay, I get a list of stock in most active by volume, most active by value, and top gainers in the current trading session. Also, I get the bulk deal stocks that happened the previous day. I want you to find stocks which are common across. Okay, so now you see we have got 4 lists. We have got one most active by volume, most active by value, and the top gainers. And then we have got one list from bulk deal stock that happened yesterday. So if I can find a stock that is at least present in 3 of the 4 lists, I'm going to invest in. Now, this is my personal rule. I have not read it anywhere. I am not someone using it. This is just a general idea. I am no trading guru. So even if you practice it, just practice it at your own risk level. Okay. So I'm going to say I want you to find a stock which which are common across at least 3 of the lists, and then tell me that. Now let us see what it says. I'll write a script that fetches all 4 lists, extract the stock symbol from each, and find those appearing in at least 3 lists. First, let me check column names for each function return. I'm going to say yes. Okay, so what it came up with, that Motherson was available in 3 of the lists. It was in top gainers, most active and most active by volume. Then it was HDFC, which was in top gainer, active by volume and value. And then Relaxo, which was in the top gainer, then most active by value. And then also in the bulk deals. So a bulk deal happened around Relaxo. Let us actually check this on the internet. Relaxo bulk deal Indie, or let's just say Relaxo bulk deal, and let's see what we get. Okay, so yeah, people are talking about it. That was October 7th. Let's just call it yesterday. Okay, Relaxo bulk deal 26th June 2026. Let's see that. Okay, so yeah, something happened here. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So Relaxo Footwears had a bulk deal, but it was a sell action. But then someone also purchased it on 25 June. Okay, so someone sold all of the Relaxo and then they brought all of the Relaxo at a loss. That doesn't really make sense, right? That is strange actually. On the same day. So they sold at 413 and then they brought at 412. Strange. Maybe something they were doing. I'm not really sure. I'm not really pointing anything. But yes, this happened. Okay. So now this is a use case that we will have to add some trigger, but we'll not do it in this session. But this could be a rare scenario. I'm not really sure why that happened. And that is the reason our filter they picked up Relaxo. Okay, so now they have come up with 3 stocks: Motherson, HDFC Bank, and then Relaxo. Alright, so no stock hit all 4 lists. A few note on the interpretation. List sizes were unequal, of course, and I used the most recent bulk deal date available 25 June since today. Okay, yes, add a script that runs after NAC monitor market pi has given the results for all the 4 lists. Then the new script runs and gives me the common stocks in at least 3 out of 4 lists. Okay, so it ran the analysis on the list that we generated in the previous, the run that we did. And now it is asking if I want a script for that. So yes, I'm saying, yeah, please build a script for me. Okay, so I'm going to say yes. Alright, so the snapshots on bulk deal section still shows no data because today's deal aren't published yet. Now I'm telling it that I want this to be configurable. Okay, now every time I execute this script, it should get me today's top gainers, today's most traded volume, most active shares, and then it should give me the bulk deals from yesterday. Now if you can find a way where you could get bulk deals from today's date, that's even better. But for now, based on the limitation of the APIs, we'll have to live with bulk deals from the previous day. So I'm going to tell it that configure it in a way that every time this script is run, it gets the first 3 lists, that is the active and the most traded ones from today, and the bulk deals from yesterday. Now any day I run it, it should do that. So I'm going to tell it I want this to be configurable such that any time I run it, it gets the most active volume and top gainers for today's date, and bulk deals from yesterday. Okay, so now it has done the changes, but Claude is really very intelligent. It is saying one caveat to keep in mind. It says bulk days ago -1 is a literal calendar day. If you run it on a Monday, yesterday is Sunday, so no trading and the bulk deals will be empty. So you would want minus bulk days ago 3 days to reach Friday. Now it is itself suggesting want me to take auto skip weekend holidays and pick the last actual trading day instead. So I'm going to say yes, please do that. Alright, so finally it has come back, and now, it did all the code changes, and then I asked it, so now when I run the script, what is the output do we get? So this is the kind of output that we'll get. We'll get a list of 3 stocks: HDFC Bank, Motherson, and Relaxo, and these are the stocks. For this stock, this was for HDFC Bank, it came in these 3 lists. For Motherson, it came in these 3 lists, and this Relaxo came in these 3 lists over. Okay, so the 3 stocks currently appear in at least 3 of the 4 lists. Cool. So I think this is pretty much that we want. Alright, now this is okay, this is cool, but is there a way I can trigger it automatically, like every 1 hour or every 15 minutes, something like that, right? Now how can we do that? So now we go back again to Claude, and then I'm going to tell it that there is a script that I have written, okay, and I want you to run it. Let's say every 1 hour I want that kind of, or maybe you can build up a different criteria, different set of filters unlike me, and then trigger it even more frequently, right? But so I'm I'm going to ask Claude to do it now. I want to trigger the, so what's the name of the file? NAC underscore market monitor.py. Let me copy the name. I want to trigger the, so now you see as soon as I do @ it is able to pick up my file because it is already in the folder that we are on. I'm going to hit that. So I want to trigger this script in every 1 hour. So there is this concept of scheduled task in Claude Cowork. So I can schedule something and Claude is going to run that. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I want to trigger this NSE market every 1 hour, schedule a job that does this, but only on the weekdays from 9:15 a.m. or if you want you can change the time, include the pre-trading period also from 9 a.m. from 9:15 a.m. to let's say 3:30 a.m. 3:30 p.m. Let's see what it does. So we can close this py file over here now. Alright, so it has come back that it is saying that I can schedule it, but then it is going to run inside my environment. That is the sandbox environment. And from the sandbox environment, it cannot really reach the NSE. Okay. But even though we are not directly going to the NSE, but the API calls might go to the NSE environment. So we don't really want to take that chances. So now Claude is asking me this question that how should I schedule this hourly job via the Windows task scheduler, which is the recommended, or the Claude scheduled task. Okay. Now inside the Cowork, there is a concept of that it can schedule a task and then it is going to run it from your computer itself, from your computer environment. It will be using the IP of your computer. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say take over my computer. Okay. I've already done this once actually. I used Cowork for some other thing and it actually took on my computer. Now that was not a very pleasant sight to see. I could see, it was all orangish. My screen had turned orangish. So I didn't really like it. But yes, for the sake of this video, for the sake of this demo, I'm going to show it to you. But otherwise, Windows Task Scheduler is the most optimal way to do it. We are going to do it both way. Let's do both. Okay, let's do both. One, create a Windows scheduled task and let Claude Cowork take on my machine to do it. Alright, so now you see Claude has taken on my computer and it is doing it. Now I'm not really doing anything, it should do it. Also, I'm not sure if this is still being recorded. Alright, so you saw what happened. Claude Cowork took over the computer and then it was having trouble finding the windows and everything. So, and also I didn't really like, someone else taking over my primary machine. Alright, so anyhow, I think it has done quite a lot of things. In the same folder where we were, creating that script, it has added these 3 files over here. It has added a logs folder doing something, I'm not sure what. Okay, so it has done something, but on the task scheduler of Windows, I don't really see any job scheduled over here. But did we get a job on the Claude Cowork? Let's see that. No. So we also didn't get a job over here. Never mind. We are going to go back and I'm going to tell it, okay, tell me what to do. You don't take over the machine. You don't take over the machine. Tell me what to do. I will fix and install the scripts on, install the Windows scheduler, SCHETULER scheduler task. Just tell me the step. It says GUI is fighting me. See that over here? GUI is fighting me with window masking. Come on, dude. Got it. I'll stop and hand it over. Thank you, Claude. Okay. So it has given me a couple of commands to run. Okay. So first thing is double click on this batch file. It recreates the task correctly. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay, and now I'm going to go back and I'm going to run this reveal in file explorer and I'm going to double click on this. Okay, did it create? Sure. Okay, yeah, so let me close it and run it again. So it auto closes actually. Okay, let's go back and let's refresh this again. And yes, so I see this after triggered, repeat every 1 hour for duration of 60. Okay, cool. So I think it has done it. Now what was the other thing? Open command prompt for PowerShell and paste this single line with the flags too. Okay, I think it has created it and let us actually, okay, so I'm going to run this command instead now. I'm going to open command prompt, paste this. So this did come up. Now this is the batch file it wants to run every time that scheduled job triggers, and this is going to repeat every 1 hour until it's not given. Duration is 6 hours 15 minutes. Okay, so from 9 to 3, 9:30 to 3:30, whatever it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, cool. So we have got a task scheduled and then we will that. Okay, so this is the flow now. Every morning at 9:15, this task is going to trigger. And once this task is triggered, it is going to run this file over here, which will give me these 3 this 3 data, right? Now, there is a few caveats in this approach. first of all, my machine has to be turned on, right? Now, if this, if this is kind of a POC, a proof of concept that we are doing. So if this works pretty well, we can make some profit. We will move this onto a cloud stack, and so that it could run autonomously and we don't really need our machine. Even then, let's say if we are able to move this on the cloud, we need some way to actually look at the results, right? Or either we could just keep coming back to our terminal and run this and ourselves and look at that. So what I mean, it will be even better if we could send these things to our Telegram, right? If we could send these shortlisted stocks to our Telegram, right? So next, let's try to set up Telegram so that we could receive whatever Claude has found out, the top 3 stocks for us. Not really top 3 every time, So for us, the best stocks will be. So will it not be any better that if we could receive these 3 stocks onto our Telegram chat, right? If we could connect Claude or this script output with our Telegram, then we don't really need to actually come back to our machine and have a look at it. We can continue what work we are doing. We always have our phone, and this system is going to run in our home or somewhere, and then it just messages us that okay, these 3 are the stocks that we have got, right? So in the next part, let's try to configure Telegram with this solution that we have built. We are now on this web platform for Telegram, and in the search bar I'm going to search for bot father. Okay, and let's start the conversation. So over here I'm going to say new bot. Okay, what are we going to call it? So I'm going to say Dhan MCP Claude. Okay, now it needs a username, so I'm going to call it Dhan MCP Claude underscore bot. Okay, so now the bot has is created. It is congratulating me, and we can use this token. Keep it token secure and this. Okay, so now once you have got the token, you would have to keep it somewhere. It's important. So I'm going to open a notepad and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and then I'm going to hit this URL over here, and over here it says your token. So now this place I need to bring in that token. I'm going to copy this and put it over here and then hit enter. Okay, so I've got this, and then I'm going to use my bot started and then send a message. Say, let's say hello. Okay, and then I'm going to refresh this, and yes, so I've got my chat ID from here. Now I need to make a note of this also. Cool. And I'm going to paste this also in my notes. Alright, now I'm going to come back to my VS Code, and in my Claude Code terminal, I'm going to say I need to connect to Telegram via this script so that all the stock that it filters, it is then able to send me to my Telegram. You can use a different script. Okay, let's just do this much. Let me know what all things you need. And now my idea is that it should be able to tell me that it needs a token ID, it needs the message ID and whatnot. So let's see. Okay, so what I need from you is 2 things. Bot token. Okay, so where should the bot send alerts? Direct message me. I'm going to say yes. Environment variables hard coded in the script. So I'm going to hard code in the script for now. And what should each alert contain? Common stocks only, common stock plus key details, full snapshot summary. Each of the 4 lists plus common stock results. Yes, I want this. Or if you want, you can choose it. Now, if you're following along, there are chances that you will also get the same questions. But if you do not, you can just ask Claude to answer any questions that it might have, and it should bring up some of the questions very similar to this, and you can answer it. So I'm just going to say, okay, let's do this full snapshot summary. Let's do this. Maybe we can change it later if you want. Submit answers. Okay, so Claude has come back and it is saying that you give me both the values, paste your bot token or your chat ID here. Okay, or you can give me just a token and I'll fetch your chat ID. Okay, now this is also saying that 4096. Okay, so now it wants the token and the chat ID. Now I doubt if I give it, it is not going to use it because it will say it is now exposed and blah blah blah. So what I'm going to say, you write the script, you do whatever is necessary and give me placeholders in the script for token and chat ID, and I will myself put it there. You do the rest of the thing. So I'm not going to give my chat ID and token to the Claude. It will just give me placeholders and I'll put it there. Alright, so it has done the code and it has given me placeholders for this Telegram bot token and the Telegram chat ID. So I'm going to open the node and I'm going to copy this, put it here. Then I'm going to copy this chat ID, save. And now I'm going to say I have added the token and chat ID. Can you run the script once and send me the stock that come as a result to my Telegram? Let's see. Now this is the actual testing. Alright, so it says, okay, I just hear a ring on my phone, so I think it has done it. So it says it has done it. These are the stocks it picked up, and let's actually look at the Telegram now. And yeah, so we have got top gainers, top losers, most active, and the bulk deals. And this is the final thing: common stocks. HDFC Bank, it came in 3 lists: most active volume, top gainers, Motherson, Relaxo. So I think it is doing its job pretty well. Awesome. So this was it for this session. But before you actually leave, there's one disclaimer, very explicit disclaimer, that I am no trade guru. I'm not recommending any practice or any stock. This was just a fun project. Before you click away, what essentially we have built today is that so our computer can now screen the entire stock market for us every single day while we are asleep. Now, here's a quick recap of what we have just built. We tapped into Dhan MCP, grabbed free market data from a couple of open source GitHub repos, and wrote a Python script that can cross check 4 very important lists of the day: top gainers, most active by value and most active by volume, and then the bulk deals of the previous day. And all of this just to spit out a few common stocks across these 4 lists. And then we scheduled it to run automatically every weekday during market hours, and then pipe the results straight to our Telegram on a phone hands-free. Now, as far as the Dhan MCP goes, you don't really need to learn the tools of Dhan MCP. You just connect the Dhan MCP server with AI agent like I did in Claude. You can do it with any other like ChatGPT, and then you just talk to it in plain English, like show me my portfolio, show me my holdings, show me the open orders and anything. And the AI agent will automatically figure out the best tool for this job and will show you the result. We also discovered a few tools that would not work right away with an AI agent. We would need the Dhan's data subscription. Also, we looked into a way where Claude could take over our machine, and if you are okay with that, if you are okay with doing that, you can of course create another script which does the automatic trading, and then Claude can invoke that script whenever you want. Okay, but I'm not really going to do that on the video actually. All right, so here is my final ask to you: go build this system yourself so that you have a stock screener, and if you have any other methods that you use to screen your stocks, please tell me in the comments and maybe we can together automate that. All right, so if you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more such videos. It will be a real pleasure to have you along this journey. All right, on that note, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.